live, maybe just a little bit dead.
We go just a little bit live, yeah. Well, it's cold as well. It's winter for the both of us. You can tell it.
Yeah, it is actually. It's a bit chilly today.
Yeah, it is here, mate.
I bet to throw two cats on the fire to get enough heat.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. Hello, Johnny.
Hello,
Matt. He's finding me a link.
I can send you the link in just a moment once it comes up.
Marvelous. Well, they don't seem to know. Why do I say don't seem to know? They don't seem to know because people are there's panic. They hello, MTV. 105 degrees F in the shop. You see, that's really hot. 105 F. I mean, I don't know what that. I used to know what that would have been. I've no idea. I can only work in centigrade, I'm afraid.
Here we go. I've sent you the link.
Thank you very much, boss. Thank you very much. Let's open that link right away. Let's do that. Let's read this letter together because I hadn't seen this. Bruce just mentioned this letter as we came to start chatting, and I haven't seen it. So let's see if I can zoom it in. Maybe I did see this one. Yeah, I did see this one. We requested to classify certain information. Yeah. It's quite important, this one, isn't it?
It is. It is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
This bit here where it says, when used with the UAS systems hardware, they collect locations and photographs taken by the device, register facial recognition data, even when the system is off, and upload the information to cloud storage located in Taiwan and Hong Kong, to which our foremost adversary, the Chinese Communist Party, almost certainly has access. Do these people not know that China and Taiwan are not actually the best of friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They have no idea of geopolitical events, do they?
No. And talking of geopolitical events, here comes a geopolitical event in the form of Ian.
Don't give him a fancy title. He's just a stirrer.
How many more days until winter? Oh, I don't know. We're on the other side. That we're heading towards summer now, mate. It's on the way.
The days are really stretching out here now.
Oh yeah,
getting way long. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. The same here.
I gather the UK's had its 3 days of summer. The 3 days of summer, was it, Ian? Yep. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it has been genuinely very, very sad. We did literally get 3 or 4 days and then back to rain.
Oh dear. Well, the eldest two are here, holidaying over from. Oh, I won't do that. From the UK, and I think they're quite enjoying the winter weather here. It's cold, but it's
a break
nice
from the
clear.
Intense heat of summer in the UK. That's what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. That letter is quite important because that is kind of the proof that people need. But the DJI crowd are panicking, and people are still professing that it's the end of the drone industry and the end of the world, and yet it's not. It really isn't. We've been here before.
No. Well, I did my research, and the closest thing I can find to this was the ban on Huawei and ZTE. And in that case, it was just new products. Existing products continue to be used, whatever. So I'm suspecting that if DJI's got its head screwed on properly, it'll be launching as many products as it can between now and when the ban is implemented, because they'll still be able to sell all those products under existing approvals. But it'll be new products after that. And I mean, really, when you look at it, people are already using drones that are 3, 4, 5 years old. So that means DJI still got good access to a market for 3 or 4, 5 years. And when you look at what they're competing against, like the Firefly Astro, they haven't got much competition anymore.
I saw. Well, you did tell me that. You mentioned that on X. Where is it? Here it is.
Yeah, if you want to buy an M30 with a thermal camera and laser ranging from B&H Photography, it's $9,500 American dollars. If you want to buy an Astro Blue with a camera, but no thermal, no laser ranging, it's $34,600. So there's like over 3 times price difference there for less capability. So I don't see people rushing out and buying these things.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to.
Well, not if DJI can continue to sell the M30. I mean, this thing is nowhere near as capable as the M30 even, and they're charging 3 times as much. So they've got years before they catch up. In the meantime, DJI just keeps selling the M30s and taking the money.
No, but people are already, companies are already saying we don't want DJI gear. You're going to have to use something else. I see one chap complaining bitterly that he's been told to buy the Skydio or lose the long-term contract he's got, and he's complaining that he doesn't want to buy the Skydio. Well, that is just plain foolishness to me. He's going to lose the job. You can't moan about it. If that's what they want, that's what they want, and that's that, isn't it? Boom. Oh, there, Mitchell could probably get a CO mat on if you want, Gary. Yeah.
You can moan a bit though, because sometimes you'll have an instruction like that of you only to use certain kit. Yet at the same time, the client will have an expectation of a certain quality or accuracy, which you know that kit won't meet. So then you'll do that entire job, come around and getting paid, and then the client will realise that hasn't met what their expectations are, and then they'll be arguing you, saying we're not paying you. So it kind of depends on the circumstances, doesn't it?
And I think more at the end that is going to have problems is the cinema world or advert world, because they're used to saying, I want a DJI this with this lens, and they know exactly what they're getting. But of course, that's a very, very, very tiny market.
Mind you, a lot of the cinema people are using bespoke drones anyway, I think, aren't they? A lot of them have bespoke built drones.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at a lot of the big productions on Prime and Netflix, a lot of them are just using your standard DJI stuff, and the bigger shows, they'll maybe use the Inspire and now the Inspire 2. I mean, a lot of the cool stuff the Inspire 2 did would have only been of interest to big productions and Hollywood. It just wasn't priced enough, cheap enough for, I don't think, for say UK TV to be interested. But with the US, it's kind of different. The budgets are bigger, so I think their DJI probably has more of a foothold than people realise, because people for years have kind of arrogantly assumed, well, you can't shoot that with even like a DJI Mini or even a normal Mavic, and it's like, yes, you can, as long as you've got the shot they want, because usually a drone shot's on for 2-3 seconds. You only kind of almost subconsciously notice it anyway for a moment. So you're not pixel peeping at it. So actually you could get away with, really, they just wanted the shot. And if your equipment wasn't quite to the match of what they'd be shooting the rest of it with, they generally didn't care.
But it's only a matter of time before Sony takes that market, eh?
Well,
with their drone.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they compete quite well on price with the free fly system, but again, people are saying the free fly system's not got the endurance that they probably
28
would want
minutes,
it to
they
have.
say, and they don't mention if that's with or without payload. I would say without payload.
And Mitchell obviously knows. Mitchell's obviously our expert on this. He's hundreds of hours flying the platform, and he beta tested the A7R4 mapping kit, and that's an important kit. Important point. A lot of the DJI gear, that's a much better sensor, I think, than an awful lot of the DJI cameras. I know they've got Sony kit on them, but not exactly that. And you can build your own and get yourself, a fairly tidy bit of kit, really.
And a flame wheel 450 kit with Ardu Pilot and a GoPro.
A 550, yeah. Funny enough, I've just started making a set of videos on the history of how we've got to where we are, and the flame wheels where I finish it. that's where I think it's the start. That's where I consider the start of the modern world is the flame wheel, but starting in 1847, of course, with the balloons, because the stuff that A.M. Lowe did is quite amazing, really. He not only in 1917 did he have the first flying thing working, he was also working on the boats, and it was FPV. He developed what did he call it? I can't remember what it's called. His television red card. Oh,
red card. We're in danger of learning something here. This is not part of the stream.
Okay. But I was astonished. But it's right. It's everything that people are claiming to be new in 1917. Of course, Tesla had driven the boat first, but he had a boat going, and the Royal Navy had commissioned a swarm, no less, of guided boats back then. So it really is.
It's the same as now. They just wore suits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. It was much smarter.
Far
when
more
it
formal
went
back in
on.
those days.
Absolutely. The blue list also allows them to use the EO or IR from works. Well, yeah, a free flight is only good to -10. That's interesting. Oh, there's a new blue list frame parts existing. Oh, right. I'll have a look, Mitchell. I have. Have you just done that, or did you do that last week? And I have completely missed it. Maybe I completely missed it. Yeah. What was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. I know. Thing that super annoyed me today on let's get it. It super annoyed me on the LinkedIn. So Micropilot shared this, and it really annoyed me, saying that if you've been around years, it makes you better. And I thought it was a dreadful way of marketing that all these companies have gone. Yes, Airway have gone. 3DR, they've come back to life. OpenPilot was never going to be a thing. In the way Autopilot, Dean's gone on to much better things. Procerus bought out, Mavionics bought out, CloudCat bought out. Okay, the name of the CloudCat stuff is changing now. I thought it was a dreadful way of differentiating yourselves. It was pretty dishonest marketing. Or am I overreacting to that sort of thing?
I think you've been a grumpy old man and overreacting slightly.
Oh, okay.
But
fair enough.
But I guess there is a thing, isn't there? You should be shouting about what you're doing great rather than the failures of others, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look out. And talking about the failures of others, here's Ian.
More trouble. Jeez.
Here's the other Ian. Hello, mate. I'm
Always
just having
failure.
a little rant. Always ranting about this. Why these guys were comparing, saying we've been going 30 years and this lot aren't. Yabu sucks. And a lot of them are still going. But I thought, get off my lawn, kind of smacks to get off my lawn. All right. I'm just being too grumpy. Okay. All right. I get it.
If you can't say something nice about someone, don't say anything at all.
Don't say anything at all. Absolutely.
Let's sit here in silence for a while, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Hello there, Ian. Ian had a really great piece, and it's on his FPV wiki. I've reposted it as well, about the origins of DJI gear. And that actually caused on Reddit, people got very angry with me about posting that and said, who is this guy? He knows nothing. And I just said, I think he might very well be the subject matter expert on that sort of a thing. But boy, people are getting touchy about DJI stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen it on Reddit. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
Reddit.
No, they took it down. The Reddit lot took it down on the drones thing. They took it
Gary's
down.
a social media maven.
Nice.
Pardon?
Okay.
He's on everything. He's on all platforms.
I
You should see his
posted it
TikTok thing.
Yeah, well, I posted it because I was reading so much nonsense on LinkedIn, which is like, that's a given. Let's be honest.
Don't look surprised. Don't look surprised.
But it's like there seems to be this rhetoric that we're going to ban DJI and they can't survive without us. And actually, it is a valid point that they can't survive without the US, but that's in sales. What it isn't valid remotely in is the physical technology. And, if you look at what DJI built their products based on, it was commodity off the shelf parts, largely low-cost microcontrollers from ST Micro and action camera microprocessors. DJI started bolting a GoPro to the bottom, and when that relationship fell apart, they basically built their own GoPro and stuck it on the bottom. But that was 2014. And since then, we've seen this progression of, Lightbridge moved into OcuSync, OcuSync 2, OcuSync 3, OcuSync 4. And what DJI have made very clear efforts in is securing their own supply chain. And now, to the stage we're at today, of they basically are in full control. And it's not that they don't use Western-owned components, because they do. But the point I wanted to make with that was it was largely because of they are it's the best choice, not the only choice. So if DJI was banned from buying Texas Instruments power controllers, they can buy Chinese equivalents. They're just not as good, not as reliable, and it would make a slightly worse product. But that doesn't mean they can't make the product. And when you dig into it, the core technology now they own. There is no one who can prevent them continuing to make their products. And even the important stuff, and the real important one is MEMS. MEMS is something that very few companies can actually make. It's a bit of a dark magic of the silicon industry. It become very condensed, manufacturing of MEMS into a very small number of companies, and that expertise has been very difficult for others to replicate. But you can't control the supply of MEMS. Anyone can buy gyros on the open market from the likes of InvenSense and others. So whilst there is some stuff that they still use, you won't be able to control it. And look, we've got the Mavic 3 here, and the new Avata 2, and they are standalone now. They are. If you look at the Avata 2 especially, it's all China. It's all China now, all the way through. They've even pulled out the American-owned power amplifiers, so that they've completely, that drone is basically all us. We can do what we want. We don't need anyone else's help. What's actually really interesting in the images is it's also a bit of a timeline of how DJI's technology has evolved. And if you look, the Avata 2 today, it's basically the same as the Phantom. It's basically the same product 8 or 9 years later. Look at the size difference. That board is literally that big compared to all of the boards we had in these. I think it was 3 boards in the other drones. But yeah, I just got fed up of reading nonsense. So I thought, I'm going to put something together.
A good read it is too.
Yeah, there's some stuff I'd like to finish on it. It was, but there is a certain amount of delusional belief. Yeah, there we go, Bruce. There's a good old Phantom with an STM32 under the hood on that. You're lucky if it doesn't. I'm shocked it hasn't flown away yet, considering they were quite notorious.
To tie it down when I fly it.
They are notorious for doing it. There's only really 2 things that DJI still rely on the West for, and that's Texas Instruments power controllers, and that is because TI are the global #1 manufacturer of power control systems, pretty much outside of Honeywell, who make it for the industrial world. And TI just have best-in-class components. And it's not that DJI can't use something else. It's just it would make it a worse product if they did. And MEMS. But you'll never control the supply of MEMS.
Well, I've kept the U-blocks up there. I'm surprised they're still using U-blocks. Must be a lot of business for U-blocks. Must be a lot of business.
U-blocks are a funny company. They're European, aren't they? U-block.
Yeah, Swiss.
Are they part of Minecraft?
Yes, they are.
I think U-blocks have done something a bit like ST Micro. Actually, they've made a product that is clonable, but they do it so well at a bit more expense. But that bit more expense is worth it. And that's why U-blocks seem to just keep such a stranglehold. They are, there are other GPS chipsets, and we've all used them. Yet U-blocks remains the #1 choice. And it is more expensive, but it's like 10%, 20% more expensive. And when you're only talking $2 or $3, people prefer to land with what they can, rely on.
Well, to me, it feels like it always used to feel like if you bought something from Sony, it would be quality to me. In the 90s when I was buying electronics, and if I'm getting the GPS and it says U-blocks on it, I have no data to support it would be way better or anything like that. Other than it just feels like I'm getting, it's U-blocks. It's not some Bitan or whatever, some other thing, it's
and U-blocks have done really well to hold off the Chinese, actually, and it's not through the lack of trying from the Chinese on that side of it. It's just they seem to have enough of a head start that no one can really drag them back.
Good morning too. I can never get your name right. Malakajura. However, good morning to you in India. I know it's
Yeah.
like 3 a.m. for you. It's firmware and U-blocks is surprisingly different. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely buy bespoke firmwares from them as a manufacturer, and they'll look after you and not sell it to anybody else. So as Ian says, they've done an incredible job. So I was surprised. I was surprised that they you can't recognize firmware by looking at you. But yeah, no, absolutely. I completely get that.
Yeah,
So
they've
yeah,
done a lot of custom stuff, haven't they? U-blocks as well, and
Yeah.
TI. You mentioned it as well. TI work their magic with a lot of companies. TI are very open to sort of giving you a custom version of their controller. Apple are renowned for doing it. TI are a huge player in power electronics, and they're also quite open to giving you something a little bit custom to sort of stop others having the same feature set and stuff like that, and businesses like that. If you take it, I know a little bit about the subject, but if you take the USB controllers in MacBooks, they're quite known for burning out, and they're a customized Apple-only version of a TI microcontroller, so you can't even replace it with an off-the-shelf one. Apple have a very specific unit that TI manufacture for them and things like that, and TI are big into doing that sort of thing for big brands.
Well, we know you're a subject matter expert on burning out USB ports. We know
that's how I know that.
You are. We know you have released the smoke from many USB ports.
Is that a police academy? Many different USB ports.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we don't have to worry about DJI drones now anyway, because they're moving into bicycles. So
yes, I'm glad you brought us onto that. What do we all? That's tomorrow, isn't it? What do we all think of that?
It's what do you do when you think you're about to be banned is what it is. Diversify. There is no question they are diversifying. It is blatantly obvious now. Bikes, power stations. What next?
Well, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see camper vans. It'd be very interesting to see what if they can make a dent into that market. Do you think the brand association is strong enough that they can move from 4 rotors to 2 wheels?
I think when I've looked at it, there isn't a single what's interesting is, just like in the car industry, the one big player, which is Shimano, which you would have assumed would have been first in with this, doesn't appear to be. And it looks like a lot of the electric bike systems have been a bunch of fairly low-level brands or new companies setting up. Yet the big player, look, we've all grown up with push bikes. Shimano has been it for years, hasn't it? And yet they seem to have left the market open. So, look, if anyone can do it, DJI can. They've got the expert motor control, motors, batteries. It's right up their street.
And I think the batteries are important as well, because it's becoming more newsworthy over battery fires. So I think having an established brand, there'd be that level of trust there, and the brands themselves would know it was something they would have to get absolutely. They'd have to nail it, because the last thing you'd want was on the news was a DJI up in flames. Yeah. So.
And it doesn't happen, Ian. You're right. It just doesn't happen. I think I can count 3 occasions I've known a DJ battery go up in like 10 years. That's so rare it happens. It's crazy.
How many of those were you responsible for?
Is it going to come? I mean, they do all these camera accessories already. Let's get the right thing up.
They're a lifestyle company.
He's got a chest cam on. He's got an Osmo on.
But you're definitely right, Ian, on the fact of there is a real, there's a very real. Scooters and bikes are going up all over the place, and there's been some horrible fires. There's a bad one in the UK where kids died, and
because most of them are made by really cheap Chinese companies with no ideas of battery management. And
look, let's be honest, this is absolutely right up DJI Street. They can bring a lot of value, a lot of safety, and a big brand name. And yeah, what's not to like? I can see it very quickly becoming a big part of the market.
So and there's 9 million bicycles in Beijing.
I
Well,
reckon,
yeah.
Bruce, it is. I reckon it is, Bruce. I reckon it's it can't be a coincidence. They've released more consumer-based products in the last 18 months than they
They'll be
ever
the
have.
new Xiaomi.
Yeah, microphones. The microphones sort of make sense because they're a big camera company anyway. They've always been a big camera company, but we've got the mics, we've got and I don't know if you see it. The mics are everywhere. You see the mics.
I was just going to say that the number of flipping YouTube videos I watch, where even the old bloke out there, he's even got one, has he? And the logo.
I haven't got a set, and they call me the shill. Come on.
Well, I buy my stuff. That's the difference.
King of the shill. That's what we need that's what we need for him. King of the shill.
I've still got my Rode, so sod you. I'm using pro gear here.
I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't go that far. I've got the Rode as well, actually, but
yeah, I think the DJI's better though, isn't it?
I've got an OpenTX.
Yeah. I think what
Bruce,
Rode
what
is
do you think of the DJI?
I've got a white one of these as well. I've got a white one of these as well.
Is the DJI better mic?
Yes,
audio-wise, no.
Okay.
No, I don't think. I think the Rode has actually got better audio quality. This can be slightly muffled in some situations. The pattern seems to be. If you get it in the wrong angle, it sounds a bit more not as clear as
that's
these.
That's when it's sending your voice directly back to China.
Yeah,
it drops the quality down a bit.
But in terms of ease of use, I like this because the buttons on these usually fail after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, well, mine is playing up, Bruce. Yeah, mine is. It won't turn on. You're sitting there going, "Come on." How do we think the bike will have to be activated? It's got. Come on, it's gonna have to be activated, isn't it? You're gonna have to register on an app before you can ride.
That'll be interesting, though. Does like in the UK and in New Zealand, used to be to connect anything to the phone lines, you had to be permitted by the telecoms. You had to have a telecom permit. I wonder if they're going to do that with the internet, so you can't even plug a DJI thing into the internet. Because you can send data back.
There's even apparently a 4G module available for it, so China can track where you're off-roading at 24/7.
Well, that's pretty handy.
There's
little cameras built into it everywhere, is there?
There has been concerns about the GPS stuff on fitness gear. So there's one of the GPS companies where I think it was. I don't know if it was hacked or not, but basically, you could see the entire perimeter of some US bases because the guys were going out with the watches on and running around the perimeter.
Yeah, I can see big troubles here. People taking the DJI e-bike to the airport. They get within 4 kilometers and the front wheel locks up and they go to handlebars.
Well, what amuses me more than anything else is that dear Kevin's family own a bicycle shop.
I know.
So this bicycle seller. So he's going to be all over it, isn't he? He's going to be absolutely all over it. But yeah,
these bikes you can hack with a saw.
Oh, very good. Very, very good. Yeah.
He's going to be all over it, isn't he, Kev? He's going to be all over it. He's going to be...
That must be their worst nightmare to read that. Oh, no. What have we
They're doing
done?
it just to get at Kevin. He was such a pain in their backside over this whole bike thing. They're just doing this just to get back at Kevin.
They went for the bicycle.
He is relentless, which makes me laugh as well, because any post, anything they put up, all you see is, and by the way, have you admitted this yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find myself unable to get excited.
No.
It'll be a very interesting.
You can get posts for that, mate.
Oh yes, just imagine how many drone YouTube channels now are going to be are suddenly going to be bike experts.
Yes, they're all looking to pivot.
All of them tomorrow.
The RC channels want to pivot to something. So, hey, let's. In fact, if the DJI had the head screwed on, they'd send out e-bikes to all the drone influencers.
Well, what time is it tomorrow? Let's see. Whatever time it is tomorrow. Yeah,
Ignore the bruises on my arm here. Nothing to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is the best bike I've ever ridden. It's the finest technology I've ever
known. Like they're selling a bike, does it? See, I think it's powertrain, isn't it? From what I've seen so far, they're selling the powertrain. And I suspect there's a partnership with bikes, a bike manufacturer coming up. That's it looks like to me.
Being the Bosch of
or the Shimano. The Shimano, you know, and
Well, because Bosch, I think, is perhaps the biggest brand in that space, the brand in that space at the moment. Smart powertrains is
useless at war.
great advice, and it does the sewing and stuff like that. So it does all the
The gyro
woodworking.
stabilized seat is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, this sits there. Yes, just sits there. It yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. There's going to be lots of experts, and as you say, loads of channels looking to pivot, loads of desperate posting from them. It's amusing me no end.
Can't wait to see Sean on a bike.
Keeps fun on a bike.
It is interesting. Clearly, they're wanting to spread the net a little wider. Is what it seems. Look, there's still new drones. You know, the Mavic 4 is due this year. The other Avata is still due this year. The Avata, we think it's an Avata Mini. They're definitely working on a Phantom 4 series. That's full steam ahead.
Yeah,
it's looking like there might be an A3S as well with the bigger camera again, which seems to be a strange move because they're really encroaching on their other. I do wonder if you could see a Phantom 4 and an A3S with a 4/3 camera, but yeah, it's they still seem to be pushing ahead.
Got my fingers crossed for the Tello 2.
Tello 2.
The Tello 2. The DJI EV, well, that's the factory in Malaysia, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is coming. That is coming. That's
I've got funny in the private chat. I've just put you an EV related link because this is going to make quite a few shockwaves in the UK. But it just shows how things are spun to put us onto technology for it being cheaper. And the moment we do, the rug gets pulled out from under your feet. Yeah. So the congestion charge in London, which is
going on to EVs,
now it's going to include EVs. So it's just a charge.
Yeah.
Yep. Tax.
Yeah.
Not a reason, just an excuse.
Although I must admit, every video I see of people, YouTubers in central London now, there seems to be very few cars. So it's obviously working in central London. I'm not having not been there, I wouldn't know, but recently.
I think that the concern I have with policies like that is all you actually do is you allow the rich to continue on as they always have done, and you just essentially put in the poor of society. You're isolating them into their own homes, and I think, well, I just think that's fundamentally wrong. I think we need to be a little bit smarter about how, and I think there needs to be honesty about how you roll these things out and the outcomes from them as well. You know, because it's like this one. Funnily enough, it's a debate I have with Mark that's often on this show because he's got solar panels on his roof. But the trouble is, like many people, when you have things, you become the person on the soapbox, and it's like this bug about it, going, I've got this now. If only you had it. But it's like, what you don't understand, Matt, is the moment every single person in the UK was paying for solar panels on the roof, we wouldn't all have it cheap. They just hiked the electricity back up, so they were making the same profit margin. We just have the cost of maintaining the solar on our roof and paying it.
Or worse, in Australia, they've got so much solar capacity, you're having to pay to put your excess energy into the grid.
Oh, wow.
They charge you a tariff for exporting your electricity at peak times. It's that bad. But do you pay for pseudoephedrine at the chemist in the UK? Do you have to pay for that? You know, cold roll and things. You're paying a congestion charge and a decongestion charge.
Oh, very good, very, very good, very good. Yeah, it's interesting. What interesting times we live in, and as boats circle and things happen all over the place. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Did we all see the Skydio guy talking, Adam Bry talking to Congress?
I didn't watch it, but I did see it. That it happened. I find it highly amusing the amount of DJI people getting bent out of shape over that. The people getting bent out of shape over the fact it's happening is quite amusing.
Well, it's like it's like it arrived 2 weeks ago, isn't it? Out of the blue, Pshing, here it is, and it's landed, and we didn't know that was coming.
But it's like, oh no, they're being paid. They're paying them. Of course, they're paying. Look,
what
do we think's happening here? Does anyone, sorry. So the Americans are not lobbying. The Americans are paying to get DJI banned, which is a Chinese company. Are we shocked that's happening? Come on, let's be honest.
No. But if you look at the two presidential candidates, sharp as razors, mate, both of them.
But it's like, what do we expect the US to do? It's one of the biggest countries with regards to protectionism there is. End games. So it's not exactly shocking. It's not exactly, Adam is an American business. We spoke to Adam once on his. Do I have a problem with Skydio painting DJI as the big nasty company? Not remotely. Because let's be honest, DJI have painted themselves the big nasty company for long enough. All everyone else is doing is showing everyone the reality. I'm not saying DJI are complete evil. I'm not saying they even deserve to be banned. But there's a game afoot, and the game is to try and take out your opponents, and that's what they're doing.
All
Don't complain about the game. Yeah,
I think Skydio owe their success to us because we had them on here so early, when they were just
way early.
Garages, we promoted them, and look where's our paper?
See,
if there's money in the game,
where
I
they've
want
got
my share.
Exactly.
Yeah, why aren't they here now?
Yeah. Well, we should email them. Yeah, no, we did. I keep thinking that we did have one years before.
Yeah. And we predicted great things for them.
How long has DJI been paying for lead?
Look what happened now.
Complaining about Skydio paying. How long had DJI been paying? Come on.
Yeah, that Adam Lismore guy, $300,000 last year, for instance. It is ridiculous. What is wrong is the fact that you can lobby
Johnny
yourself
D,
into
look
a
down
room.
the back of the sofa, mate. Look down the back of that's where I find everything.
Yes, it's probably that. Yeah, it's unsurprising that that's happening. A bit disingenuous saying he was invited to speak to Congress. No, he paid a lot of money to lobby to get that seat at that meeting. So a bit disingenuous to say that, but all right, okay, we'll give you that. And as Ian's correctly said, he's only fighting his corner. That's the company's corner. What else is he supposed to do? What else is he supposed to do?
To the shareholders.
Yeah, he's a shareholder company. His job is to ensure he makes the most possible return for his shareholders. If that involves throwing your competitors under every bus you can find, then so be it. That's just business.
It's American way. It's capitalism.
Yeah, Scotty asking him to tax. That tax thing's that's not going to work, is it? This ramping up the costs for Chinese drones over 3 years until they cost twice as much.
Every dollar you pay in a levy or a tax or a surcharge reduces the security risk.
Yeah.
It's pretty
India taxes more for Sky to sell to India. Well, the thing is, Skydio won't be selling to India in a hurry. They won't be selling to Europe in a hurry because of ITAR.
No.
I don't understand. Unless I've completely missed
Kevin's
the boat.
here.
Oh, look. Kevin's here. Right, everyone quiet now. Quiet now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, here we are. No, there's lots and lots and lots of things that DJI could have done to stay on the right side of everything. And if our main man, Mr. Captain 49%, hadn't been quite so greedy earlier on, we might be in a completely different place now for DJI. Yeah,
they had the chance years ago. They could have done US manufacturing, US based software, as Kevin rightly says, there with proper American based people. This all could have been avoided years ago, and this goes way back. Kevin remember dealing with Ken and others, and this goes back. They messed this up in 2016 and 17. Today is the payback. It was 16 to 19 is when they messed this up. They're now getting the just desserts as a result of it. They had the chance and they played the big guy. And I don't want to see DJI banned personally. I'll find it highly amusing if they are, frankly, because it will be just interesting to see the fallout of it. I hope existing users continue to use their drones and able to. I don't want anyone affected. But sometimes to get change, to get them to actually listen, it may take a seismic event, and that event may be the ban. And
don't forget, buy your DJI bicycles from Kevin's dad. He'll no doubt have them in the shop. That would be he'll be the main dealer for the USA. I'm sure DJI have knocked on the door and
Reached out
asked
already.
for that. Yeah, I'm sure they
Official
have.
deals.
I'm sure they definitely have.
Pre-order now.
Scotty,
Don't miss it.
having an Indian subsidiary. Well, that's interesting because even if they pivot to manufacturing in India, the idea still happened in the USA, and they're very proud to say it happened in the USA. So even the idea is subject to ITAR. Your ideas are subject to ITAR. In fact, on that list of companies mentioned that I mentioned earlier, there was a company who an American chap actually flew to Australia years ago and had his idea there, and then went home to America and was producing his autopilots in America, but he could sell them around the world because he'd done his paperwork and had the idea in Australia. So it's unless I've completely misunderstood and they've utterly changed ITAR, that is a huge problem for American manufacturers, because I can't just put them on the shelf in Best Buy India, Best Buy Europe, Best Buy wherever. You just can't do it. You have to vet the people buying your systems. So, yeah.
E-bikes are an interesting thing because the rules in different countries are quite different. In New Zealand, we have a power limit of 250 watts, but I don't think there's a speed limit. But in the UK, I think there's a speed limit, and you have to do a pedal assist or something, don't you? It's
yes,
kind
there's
of
some rules over here. But you can't be. It has to be pedal assist to be classed as a bike.
Like those Amazon delivery buggy things. Have you seen those? Amazon's got some like four-wheel pedal car things, and the driver has to pedal. But they're e-cars really, but they use them for deliveries in the major centres.
Yeah, no, the rules. Yeah, and the rules. Yeah, that's actually it's a fair point now if you think about it.
Will a DJI e-bike be self-driving?
Well, maybe.
Well, they're on the cutting edge of that technology, aren't they?
Yeah, but they will have to be able to comply, or powertrains that will comply, because America has
as someone said in there, there'd be an FCC hack to take it up to a kilowatt. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're going to have an FCC. NACO.
It
gives you shorter range, but more power.
It was someone like William. I'll remember his name in a minute, Kevin. That is the back in the day sort of time we're talking about. It was pre 2000. He was going to send me a book. I'll try and remember, but you know what? I'm useless at doing stuff like that. Was it the Silvertone guy? I think was the name of the company. I think.
Great group from the 50s.
Was it?
Yeah, the Silvertone's fantastic.
That's probably something to do with that then, or that's more how we got the name. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So their powertrains are going to have, they're going to have to comply with the rules all around the world, or will it be like the radio links where they advertise 7-kilometer range and nobody allows that anywhere? Will they roll out something that is? We'll find out tomorrow, won't we? We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now I'm definitely going into rant mode, so I've forgotten the other Ian. Where are we at with foyers this week? We should have a little jingle and foyers this week or something, or some other wording.
I don't think there's been movement on foyer this week. I'm just waiting for responses that are taking a longer time, as some of them they're trying to be a little more argumentative now, which it lands at a funny time because there's been a investigation recently into freedom of information. I'll send you the link. It's only came out yesterday. This, but yeah, it's joining the long list of broken things in the UK at the minute, where only a third are being answered fully. So, I mean, obviously, I've had this issue all along, and I'm kind of used to fighting it now. But I'm hoping that eventually, especially if we get the Labour government in, that this actually gets tackled and taken a little bit more seriously, because obviously it's the only way to hold government departments to account and get information out of there that really should be transparent and public in the first place, but isn't. This actually, I thought was interesting from a Brink that you had on the other week. I was watching them on post they did on X. And there's an interesting thing with their police drone solution is that they, in fact, let's find the link and then you can show it at the same time. But I just thought it should be an example really of how we should think about doing things. Bear with me a moment while I find
they seem. I mean, because of course we can never quite know, but they do seem to be trying to do it. I don't know, in the most reasonable way that they can. Whether that's how it'll actually look in the end is a completely different thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
but,
I've sent you a link. What they've got is called Transparency Portal, and this is a good way of getting public buy-in. And this is where I think RID and that, when if you're going to get down these routes, this is how some of these examples here of how you should deal with things. So here they've got a transparency portal, so that when the emergency services are using drones, I assume there'll be some sort of delay here, so criminals couldn't use this real time. But the idea being, if you want to find out why there was a drone flying over your house, it will say, well, it was this drone, it was tasked for this reason. And so you can see all this online. And it gives a lot of other metrics as well. So I do think there should be this kind of ability when you're holding data that you're not just, oh, it's my data, I'm keeping hold of it. You should be engaging the public by giving them some access to it. I did actually tag Altitude Angel Richard from them on it as well. Just, I mean, I don't know quite what metrics you might want to put on there, because obviously it's done more for commercial, but you still might want to put some kind of metrics over there so that people that do have them flying over for any air corridors, you might just want to know how many drones fly over there a week or something, or just just a little bit of transparency, because when people have a bit of information about what's going on, I mean, really it comes down to this: you fear the unknown, and if you make things less unknown by being transparent about them, that builds up public trust. But I do think, say we shouldn't just have any data we collect about drones just held, say, by the police or by the CAA. It should be a thing where it is shared somewhat so the police and CAA can use it, but also you share it with the public. So you don't give people, like we've seen with the Nimbus and that, you don't give that kind of intimate detail where the pilot is, but you could give metrics about how many drones are flying and where they might be, maybe with some delay after it. So, for example, you could actually literally say, well, how many drones have flown around this airport and in this FRZ, and see if any have. Why shouldn't that information, if you're not identifying people as individuals, but you're just giving statistics and boom, 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 these are the drones, why shouldn't that kind of information be available? I don't think there's any good reason for it not to be. And I do think you're going to have a better buy-in for data being held there if you're not just holding it. And again, it means you could hold to account. We can't have that where figures, as we've seen with the consultation in the UK, are misused, where you try and get a big scary figure, because if you put that out there so that people can query it as well, you go, oh no, wait a minute, you've done this query wrong because you've only looked for A, B, and C, where really it should have involved these other factors as well. So that's my thought, is if you make data more readily available to the public, it's less of an issue. It's when you're just collecting it all, keeping it for yourself.
Yeah. The eldest says data wants to be free, or something like that. Something that a youth says. I'll have to ask him.
How can you take our data and call it your own and monetize it?
Yeah,
absolutely. And there's the grinder from last week.
This is that big. This is our big consequences, and just showed how, because we were bringing it up on the show
on trend.
Yeah, it's just saying how it has shown that while there's been all this narrative around drones, the reality is the UK infrastructure is only as secure as the fence, and 60 quid's getting you through it with an angle grinder. Yeah, the police have instantly acted on this, and there's been arrests across the UK because there was the allegation here is that they were specifically planning to disrupt airports. It's like a combined action.
And of course, the police watch this program. They want to keep an eye on Ian and myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone called Ian, in fact, anywhere.
Both Ians.
Both Ians, yeah. It's
You're looking at
universal.
Shady Gary as well, I think.
Yeah, very much. But I'm very far away.
I see Kevin's shelling Alterian drones on X.
Is he?
He thinks their immunity to electronic countermeasures is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Alterian. Did you see the wording, though? The wording, so you can... The wording was horrible. That makes Red Cat look good. And that's saying something.
I put some effort into it then.
But
these companies are hiring the best in the business.
Have you noticed they're not hiding the fact anymore? Most of these big companies now that these drones are being weaponized and used. The hiding of it is just all falling away now, and everyone's just talking about it openly. It seems.
Well, they want to be making the sales, don't they? And funny enough, sort of related to that, another thing, T'other Ian mentioned this week. This as the National Police Chief Councils they've got 3 counter UAS talks coming up in September, wasn't it? I think, Ian, I can't remember.
So I've just put a link in the private chat so you can show people.
Okay. All right, I'll put that.
Yeah, basically, everyone should brace themselves for some negative drone news around September, because what we've seen in the past is when the NPCC decide to go on what do you call these? So when you're going on these conferences and you're having talks, there's been accidentally on purpose leaks to the press of, aren't drones scary? They're doing this, which is obviously never backed up with any actual statistics of any convictions and these trends going through the courts, because they're not doing. Yes, we're having.
I reckon.
Remind me again, how many people have died as a result of terror attacks using recreational multi-rotor drones?
0.
Wow.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But
it's not convenient.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was only I forget now. It's over a year since, but there was a conference like this with NPCC there when it came out. Oh, scroll down in that, Gary. You're missing the other bit in this one.
Oh, sorry. I'll
pay attention,
get that back
pay
out.
attention.
Yeah, no, pay attention. Yes.
Yeah. When the pedo drone narrative was spun, which was the worst one, where they tried to imply that drone pilots, drones are basically a tool of pedophiles. So I'm hoping we don't see anything that bad, but it does alarm me. And this is there's almost a joke here of how many NPCC officers does it take to change a light bulb?
There's
in the context of a conference, because there's about 3 guests there, so it's really very much UK talk. Funnily enough, there, Drone Alert, I have actually commented on a piece, a presentation the CEO there did, and it was laughable. It had every trope going. It had all your standard stock images. It had 3DR Solo as the drone and was talking about drones being weaponized and blowing up airports and all that. Complete hysteria. So it's but the funny thing we've got on this is the guy that's in charge or involved in the counter UAS at Gatwick's talking. So we've got this all again, NPCC, Gatwick, all together, all that coming out again. So I'll just be interesting to see if we're going back over all ground and trying to again firm up and try and argue, despite all the facts that are coming out from Freedom of Information, that was anything other than a very questionable assertion that there was a drone there in the first place. So yeah, I expect September.
Look at the experience. 5 years management experience. My word, 5 years.
Oh, and that leaves NATO, so that's probably pimping our old friend Sapient, isn't it? Maybe.
Well, that Sapient thing keeps popping up in conversations. It keeps arriving, and again, like Skydio, you heard it here first. Whenever we did it last year, that's coming our way. It's coming our way, big style. big style. It's been demoed in Ukraine.
That does actually remind me of something FOIA related. I did a email back to the ICO just as a general. This is some feedback and learning from you, because obviously they'd fought on behalf of Sussex Police against me, and it turns out while I was trying to just write an email with some concerns, and I stumbled across the transcript of the UK Parliament Defence Committee, because originally what I'd done was I had the video and I was transcribing it myself, which obviously is quite a long task, and this went on for hours. So I just focused on Charles York's talk, about a 5-minute section of it for the evidence I put forward. But then I found they put the entire thing on, so searching through it, because one of my FOIAs was just trying to say, was Giles York at Gatwick while the incident was going on, which is, to me, is a perfectly reasonable question, and I don't understand why it was fought. But Sussex Police and then the ICO fought that for 2 years, and it turns out he's actually admitted it there in the transcript that he was there anyway, so it was already in the public domain. It never even needed fighting. So all we've done is wasted all this taxpayers' money fighting to release something that was already released. It just wasn't easy to find. And that's all the thing that kind of makes me despair, because, again, national security and all that, been argued around that, when it isn't, because it's already out there. And then I won't go into too much, but you'll know, Gary, I've actually found out that things that were national security and that have been leaked out by the police.
And they've been leaked out, yes.
Yes, and then it's like, wait a minute, this is double standards. If you're gonna argue these arguments and restrict the public getting information, you've then got you have a responsibility yourself to show that you're using the data and information you have with the same regard. Because what they're doing is saying, do as I say, not as I do, and that is not a good look.
But we all know hypocrisy is the lingua franca of bureaucracy.
Yeah. Oh, and one though, Gary, I have to congratulate you again for your AI art, which your viewers probably haven't seen. But I noticed that you've gone to the trouble of doing a drone with an angle grinder for the email invite for today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Clickbait,
It was
clickbait
very good.
thumbnails.
Exactly, clickbait thumbnails.
It actually looks professional.
Yeah.
Oh, steady.
Slipped up there.
If you know, you know.
When do we get the Drone and Sundry AI theme song? Because these things like Udio and they're brilliant. I did one the other day. It's fantastic. It's
I'll have to try that.
One of those.
We need one a grinder related, obviously. Yes. Yeah.
A 72-year-old shot a Walmart drone out of the sky with his 9mm pistol, and he's been charged, but not under aviation law. I've yet to see any of the aviation regulators charging. It's always done under things, which raises the really important question: do we actually need special laws for drones? Because it seems that there are plenty of laws on the statutes that cover anything you can do bad with a drone. So why do we need all these drone laws and tie it into aviation when it's nothing to do with manned aviation?
And I also think the action with the angle grinder also says, did we need all those arguments of we need lots of laws after Gatwick to have stopped it in the first place, when we're proactively arresting people that haven't actually gone into the airport yet on the basis that there's evidence there to suggest they might, just from that angle grinder incident. So to me, you're always arguing for legislation you need, when really the truth of the matter is often you don't, and you've got legislation there you could be using. It's just let's use this as an opportunity to just road more freedoms away and push further than we need.
Let's hope drone auditors are next on the list, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. But surely you'd shut every single hardware shop in the world and make hardware purchases online only, so you can track exactly
remote
who's
angle
bought
grinder
what.
ID.
Remote angle grinder ID. I think I do believe Kevin made mention of that somewhere along the line as well. Yes, exactly. We've got to think about that correctly. So we have two Assanges here, Ian and Bruce.
Yeah, that's it.
Did he go back to to Australia? He did, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's gone to Australia.
Yeah. Oh, look, 30 seconds to go. We could do this now. What other exciting stories have we
Don't
seen
ask
this
Ian.
week?
We'll be here for another week.
You did get me thinking, actually, but it's gone from my mind for a minute. We were on to with what we've just been discussing in the last few minutes. There was something that had made me think, we need to mention
Justice is
that.
a warm angle grinder. There we are. I think Cool Cat. We're gonna have to.
Only a Julian
That's the
Assange had one.
that's the T-shirt. There it is. There. Justice is a warm angle grinder. Very good. We could make up a T-shirt with that thing, couldn't we? So there we go. There goes the hour. So I've missed stopping it on the hour for that important comment. Dear viewer, wherever you are in the
Before you go though,
look up.
Yeah,
here we go. Then. Yeah, there we are. Well
we've got to
done.
put it past the hour just for the sake of it.
Go on.
I did notice on last week's show again. We have this thing. We need to check airports every time after the show because there was an IT problem, wasn't there? Just about half an hour afterwards, and it's always the case.
Where was this one? Was it Canada and somewhere in the UK as well?
There was definitely one in the UK, and I think it was with
Was it
British
Manchester?
Airways. There's also been some farce that's gone on, but obviously it wasn't tied in with the show timing, which was there was a problem with a flight being redirected, and then Boris Johnson's dad was on it, and it got off, and it just turned everyone's journey into a nightmare where a flight was cancelled. So. Yes, it seems irrespective of drones, there's a lot of drama that goes on regardless, and systems that mess up. And the interesting one as well was we've got just underlining the prison narrative. Let's put this on.
And we now have 2 Chinese rocket boosters falling on.
We probably mentioned
That's a pretty dreadful. Oh, look, they're failing. How many have we watched Elon Musk things blow up here? They blow the pad up underneath them. And how many of those have we watched? And he's the hero, and the Chinese rockets are terrible. I blame Ian. Yeah, I blame you. But you can. But that's a great claim, that Louis, because of course there's two Ians available, so you can go for either one with your blame. Let's have a look. Oh yes. I will
this just kind of underlines the issue that I brought up in the past, because well before drones were even a thing, there were thousands and thousands of corrupt prison officers found. So cases that have gone through the court time and time again, where you've got staff involved in getting contraband in, and it's just frustrating that as soon as drones have come along, they're always blamed. But there's the continual pattern, and you see it story after story. It's barely a month goes by, and there isn't almost guaranteed to be some sort of prison service scandal. And the frustrating thing is that I have tried to target this with freedom of information, and even at quite high level, and just say, come on then, you're saying drones are the issue. Let's tell me what the contraband is via the mailroom, via staff, via drones, and they refuse to do it. They outright refuse to do it, because if they did, it would show that drones are a non-issue. But the trouble is, they're spending the money on doing the drones, to putting the system in, to changing legislation for systems that probably no one's even watching. But the thing for them is it deflects away from all failures. Because the issue is they're not paying a lot of the staff enough.
One woman's got an OnlyFans page. She's got an OnlyFans page. Gary, you should do a collaboration with her.
No, I wouldn't want to take anything away from your trade there, Brucey. It wouldn't be the thing to do. Yeah, no, it is all a nonsense, and I think, I Just Stop Oil is doing us is doing us a favour, showing us there are other ways and methods and means. And good luck to them.
Next thing, they'll have a drone with, instead of propellers, it'll have angle grinder blades. They've got 4 at once. That'd be the way to go. Cut through the fence half the time.
I was genuinely disappointed with that prison story that the Daily Mail didn't say, and the video of this sex taking place was captured on a drone.
By a drone. Definitely an angle grinding, noisy one, angle grinding one. Yes. We've definitely deteriorated.
Well, there was a bit of grinding going on somewhere.
There we go. It's line it all up. Line it all up. Right, dear viewer, wherever you are in the world, look after yourself. We'll see you again at 2100 Gin and Tonic next week. Cheers all. Take care. Look after yourselves. There's one button.